I have sharp talons. Ooh, I think I could guess what this might be. But I'm an eagle. I spy with my little eye something with multicolored feathers that flies low to the ground. My tail is called a train. I'm a peacock. I spy with my little eye something with gray feathers that sleeps when it's light and flies when it's dark. Woohoo! I bet I know what this is. I have a tattoo of one of these. I'm an owl, and I spy you. So that was a nice, quick, short little story. And if it's okay, we do have a second book, which should also be pretty quick. It is called Birds by Kevin Henkin. And you see okay? There we go. In the morning, I hear birds singing through the open window. Birds can be yellow or blue or brown or red or even green, I think. Sometimes they are so black that you can't see their eyes or their feathers, just their shapes. Birds can be big or little or any size in between. Oh. This is why story time scares me. I sometimes skip pages. Once I saw 7 birds on the telephone wire. They didn't move, and they didn't move, and they didn't move. I looked away for just a second, and they were gone. If birds made marks with their tail feathers when they flew, think what the sky would look like. If clouds were birds, the sky would look like this, or this. Kind of a Van Gogh look. Sometimes in winter, a bird in a tree looks like one red leaf left over. If there are lots of birds in one tree and they all fly away at the same time, it looks like the tree yelled. Surprise! If I were a bird, I'd go where all the other birds go when it's stormy and they can't get home to their nests. I like to pretend I'm a bird. I can't really fly, but I can do this. I can sing. So hopefully that will inspire you to see a couple different kinds of birds, to see all the different colors that birds can be, and to realize that you can use your imagination to make whatever kind of bird you want. They don't even have to be one you saw in the picture. It can be anything you want.
Yay!
Yay, that was good. Thank you, Kat.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I feel very inspired.
So, just think of maybe doing the summer reading program at the Benton Harbor Library.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have more information coming soon on our website, which is bentonharborlibrary.com, and our Facebook page. I hope you guys have lots of fun making crafts, and I'm actually very jealous. But unfortunately, I have an appointment that I have to go to. I would be making birds too, because bird art is one of my favorite things in the world. I'm not so fond of the actual birds, but I've got bird tattoos like you wouldn't believe. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kat, for being with us.
Yep. Bye.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Yay. That was
All
cute. I liked that book. The second book was really cute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, are we gonna flip the screens, or how is this?
Yeah, I think I think that you should be spotlighted now.
Okay.
I think we should do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I see your face really big.
Yep.
Okay. All right, you guys. So now that we've enjoyed a wonderful story about birds by Kat from the Benton Harbor Public Library, I'm gonna just kind of at the very end, I'm just gonna remind you all that you need to check out the summer reading program there, and I'll remind you that. But anyways, hopefully everybody picked up their bundles, and let's see if I can do this. Okay, hopefully everybody picked up their fundles last weekend. I'm hearing that it was a pretty stellar pickup again. A lot of people came, and that's good. We love it, you guys. We love it. So in your fundle, which is a cute little bag, right? Mine has my name on it. For family night, we had a few supplies for you. We had a lovely little bag of air dry clay, which I am really happy with this clay. We got this from Southwest Michigan Clay, and it's a really nice air dry clay. Now, I will admit that mine is still drying, so I don't know how indestructible it is, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. Right now, it's really good sculpting clay. It's got really nice feel to it. I don't know if you've opened your bags or even played with it. We have a lovely piece of paper here so that you can put this down on your table and you won't mess everything up if you're going to be painting and stuff. The clay itself is not that messy. Like, I rolled it out on my table and it was fine. But if you need to protect your furniture, we got you covered. Like, we've got it covered. Okay. There was a paper towel, and we have some little wooden stir sticks and some toothpicks, and then we have a bunch of tempera paint, and this is washable tempera paint. We used this last month. Same exact stuff. We used this for the landscape paintings. So the original idea was to wedge this into the clay to make colored clay. That's really, really messy and wasn't really thinking clearly. So we can paint our birds afterwards. Hopefully you have paintbrushes, or if you did the project with us last month, you'll have those paintbrushes left over. And I'm guessing a lot of you are repeat offenders. So, okay. So first thing we're gonna do, I gotta show you my bird. It turned out really cute. This little guy. I just made a very simple little bird. And I asked my husband, who's a birder, I was like, what kind of bird did I make? And he said, I made a grosbeak, judging by the way that I shaped the beak. And grosbeaks are like a cardinal is a grosbeak, that type. They have a little, kind of a little peak right there. And then I also made a cute little nest for my little grosbeak to sit in. The body's probably not a grosbeak body. I was just making a bird. Anyways, really cute and very simple. And you can get as detailed as you want. So first things first. And if you haven't, a little bit of water to either clean your paintbrushes or whatever. But you can also use the water to smooth out your clay. So I'm just gonna get out a little chunk of clay. This stuff is really nice. It's got kind of a bit of a plasticky feel. And it's really nice and squishy, but it's not a very sloppy clay. Like, you can see it leaves a nice finger impression for detail. So anyways, just get your clay out and wedge it. When I made my little bird, I didn't use even a whole chunk like this. So we probably have enough in here for like 4 or 5 little birds, depending on how many nests you decide to make and stuff too. And I will show you how to do that. So I'm gonna just take a little to get used to where my camera is with my iPad to the side right now. So I just taken like a little piece off. I'm just gonna set that aside, and I'll use that for the extra little bits, or maybe even a second bird. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it up. I'm just gonna kind of make myself like just a little lump, a little log of clay. And then I'm just gonna kind of use my hands to form the body. Give it a nice little belly. That's one thing that I like when I look out the window and I see robins. They have a nice little belly. I think it's really their breast, but to me they just look like they have a nice big belly. So I'm just gonna kind of give mine that shape. Sorry, you guys, with the camera, I'm just getting a little used to it. It's a little different. So if I go off screen, I'll try to fix that. There we go, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to then kind of give myself a little head. Now you can choose to add the beak with an extra little piece of clay, and we can build it and add it right on, or you can just kind of form a little beak, just like that. It's real simple. This clay is really nice. It's really smooth. Like I said, it's different than the clay that we fire at the Krasl, because this is air dry. So this probably has some kind of a polymer compound in it. I'm guessing some type of plasticine. I'm not really sure because I don't have an ingredients list, but it has a really nice smoothness to it. And if you just take if you just barely wet the tip of your finger, it smooths out really nicely if you have any big wrinkles. And it's still not making a huge mess either. It's actually really nice stuff. I'm impressed. So anyways, so I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right. I brought a field guide to birds, the birds of Michigan, which I thought was kind of fun. And that was actually because my husband told me I made a grosbeak, and I was like, okay, then give me your field guide. So anyways, but yeah, like we can look at like different types of tails here. Like this is a nice flat, kind of like almost a paddle shaped tail. And this one also has just a really teeny tiny little beak with wings. But this one actually has kind of a long paddle tail. This one is the Eastern Kingbird. That's kind of cute. So mine that I made, mine looks more like something you would find at like a little trinket station, and when you're traveling, get your state bird trinket, but it doesn't really look much. Okay, so here's another cute one, the gray jay. That also has a nice, really long tail. I kind of think I want to give this little birdie a longer tail, but I know there's others here with shorter tails. Oh, okay, this little lark. That's just a dinky little, almost a little pointed. So, okay, there's a wren. Look how cute these things are. I just love birds. I really do. I love it. I live on a ravine. We get lots of birds. So I'm going to go down with my tail, and I'm just going to kind of thin it out, make it kind of long. So maybe this one will hang over my nest, whereas my other one kind of flips up. It has like a happy little tail. This one's kind of like I'm thinking about taking off kind of tail. I just realized we probably could have put wire in these for legs. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was thinking about it sitting in the nest.
Totally. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I guess if you have paper clips at home.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Paper clips or some wire, you could easily do that too. So this is kind of thin. I'll be interested to see how strong that is. But I like this little part right here where it still looks like it actually is attached to the bird, not like I just plopped on a piece. I'm kind of feeling making this one look a little bit more like a regular decoy, like an actual bird. So,
I was just thinking when you were showing your field guide, what does it mean? What does it mean when a bird has a small beak, or what does it mean when a bird has a big beak? And maybe you don't know the answer, but it's something you know about.
Oh, I should totally get Joe out here for that. He would know.
Expert. We need a bird expert.
I know, right? Well, I'm guessing it has something to do with what and how they eat, because I do know. I'm going to get this so wrong, but I think it's a starling has a really long pointed beak. And I know that they can get right down in wet soil and just eat little teeny tiny bugs that are like in the soil.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it has something to do with the type of food that they
It's
eat.
Amazing. So because I don't think someone is making up a bird.
Right.
About what does your bird eat then?
Exactly. Does your bird like nectar? Does your bird, is your bird like the robins that have been ravaging my strawberries? I haven't got a single strawberry yet.
Oh my goodness.
I see them and then I go out to get them. and there's this robin that flies away. And I'm like, I'm supposed to love you, Mr. Robin. And I know it's a boy too, because, or a male, because it's bright. So that's another thing too. Think about if you had a female bird, it would have like a more brown tones to it. And your male birds have brighter colors. So anyways, okay, so now I've got just a basic shape. Now we can use the tools that we had for dipping paint. We can use those actually to sculpt. And that's actually used this tool to make the beak on my other bird. So I just take the tool. Let me see if I can do this so that you can see it. I just kind of made little indentations. That's one thing I really liked about this clay is you can just make little, it makes really nice little relief marks. See that? Look how easy that was. Super easy. And then I'll just take, so I just kind of used the side. I kind of like pushed it in just ever so slightly. And now I'm just going to take the little tip of it and just kind of roll it. Can you see that? It's like, it's almost like it does the work for you. So now my little birdie has a mouth. And once again, I kind of made it like a grosbeak. I think I just like them. I'm gonna have to like thin this out a little bit. Okay, so there's my little bird's body with his little tail. And you can also take, now if you're gonna do any relief marks on your tail, I want you to put your finger underneath it. Always support your work from the opposite side when you're working in clay so that you don't just plop it off. So I'm just going to kind of make little, see that? Little feather marks. And this is very simple. Some tools you can use a pencil, actually, especially if you're going to paint it. You don't have to worry about marks. But the eraser on it, you can use to make little relief marks. You can use that to speckle your whole bird if you want to. Okay, so anyway, so I just put some little tail marks on there. I kind of want to reshape it a little bit. And then I'm going to take another little piece of clay. I'll set my bird down for a second. And I'm actually going to add some wings. So I'm just going to take another little chunk, roll it into a ball. And my favorite way to do something like wings, where you're going to need two pieces that are like the same size. So I like to take and make a ball. And then I take it in my fingers. And I hold it like that. And you slowly pinch it and pull it away. And now I have two pieces that are the same size. That's my own little trick. See that? It's kind of like when you take your hands, your fingers, you know, have you ever done this with a ruler? You take your fingers like this, if you always want to find the middle point. It's kind of the same theory. Anyways, so I take those two pieces. Those are going to be my wings. Now I know they're just about the same size. And I'm going to make a little teardrop. And just kind of flatten it. Ooh, I made some big wings. We'll do the same on the other piece. Teardrop. I'm just going to kind of flatten it out. You can eyeball your pieces. They don't have to match. It doesn't matter if they match. That's just one of my little tricks to make sure you've got the same size piece on each side. And I always teach my kids that in clay class, and they think it's like voodoo magic. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, that's how you can make teeth too. So cool.
You know, the way you're making these is just making me think of all these bird-themed questions. How big are the wings depending on the environment? Are they in a really windy environment?
Right.
Are they near the
do they
ocean?
do they like do they fly long distances? Are they like, or do they just
do they
stay in the
migrate?
yard?
Yeah. What
Right.
type of
Do
bird
they-
are they? Does that dictate their
Exactly.
wing size?
Exactly. See, it's so nice having you here to think
Got all
about these
bird thoughts
questions.
now.
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Penguins don't have feathers. They're still a bird. They still have wings.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. And ostriches have massive wings.
Yeah, but they're just running.
Massive wings. I mean, it's crazy. So, okay, I am ready to put my wings on the side. Oh, cute. Look, it sticks up. I like it. I like how that happened. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of water to the back of this, just to kind of, so far with this other one, I didn't really have to do much of that, but I'm kind of taking my time with this one. So, and I'm just going to use the water there, and I'm just going to push it in a little bit, kind of sculpt it in, kind of form it to the body. I'm imagining his wings kind of flip up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So let's look at the top. Try to get everything nice and even. Something to think about with birds is you do want them to, there has to be some kind of symmetry, because they are little machines for flying. There's a reason why it works. I'm sure Emily's formulating a question for that one too. Okay, so cool. There's that little guy. And I'm just going to do the same. I'm just going to put some texture on the wings, just like I did with that. I'm just going to kind of roll it. Instead of like drawing the lines on, just kind of use the length of the side. And I'm not even really paying attention. Okay, there we go. That looks good. I'm just imagining that these are feathers. That's really just texture. Okay, I'm going to do the other side here real quick. The nice thing is if you're not too fond of your lines, you can kind of smooth them back out. But I think things look better when you just kind of go for it. You don't get too hung up on the details, and you just kind of freeform it. So now because I pressed those in, the wings actually kind of lay back a little bit on the body. I kind of like them better standing up. I might just take my tool and flip them back out a little bit. Open that space up. I don't know if you guys can see me. There we go. So I kind of lift them up a little bit. I'm just gonna do a little sculpting just by pushing stuff around. Okay, so that's a start. Really, all he needs is his eyes next, and then I can show you guys how to make a nest, which is actually kind of fun too. So that was the other thing that, and this makes me think of you, Emily, like what kind of a nest does your specific bird have? Because we have branch nests, we have leaf nests and grass nests, we have mud nests. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just tell everybody to pop some clay in your mouth and start spinning. No, don't you do that. Yeah. Don't you do that. But think about that. Like you could get sloppy with it and make like a mud nest.
Yeah, all depending on the environment that your bird is living in.
Exactly. Does your bird in a tree? Like we have a really, really cool nest in our lilac tree. Well, it's a tree more than a bush because I let it go. But it's like way up high, and it's just barely between, it's literally on the cross point between two big branches. And I don't know why it's still there. Like it's literally nested in the leaves, like between two, like it's crazy. And it's so, and I think it's mostly because it's so light and airy, but it must just be like perfectly woven. But it's too high for me to get to, and like I said, I live on a ravine, so I don't want to fall in the ravine either trying to look for it. I'll be like, whoa, it's so cool.
Yeah, birds are pretty smart. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they really, really do.
They're good architects.
They are. Okay, I gotta put the eyes on this. I just realized before. So you've got toothpicks. I've got a knitting needle, or you could use a pencil. If you want to just poke a hole, which is what I did for the other one, then that gives you the, just like the dark eye. Just poke it right in there. Just look at your bird head on, and pick the other eye. Right there. See? I'm looking at you now. Now I can find its food. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm going to set my little birdie aside. It's pretty darn cute. You could make legs out of the clay. It's not going to be strong enough to stand on. It would need an armature, but something to think about. You've got plenty of clay to play with. You could do that maybe for the next one.
It's a super cute bird, Danny.
Thank you. So for the nest, I'm going to take my other little bundle of clay that I had set aside. And so how I make a twig nest is because a twig nest is going to just fall apart. But so what I do is I just take and make a teeny tiny little pinch pot to go in the middle. And I'll show you. So the inside is strong. And then I just build around it with sticks. It's because I want to make another twig nest because I thought that was fun. But I had no idea whether or not this actual bird would nest in the twigs with twigs. But I'm thinking that mine would. I'm thinking mine would. Mine's kind of maybe more of a, maybe my bird lives on Sesame Street. Okay, so I just made just a little tiny, so like it's almost like a little plate that I know will fit my bird. And then I'm just gonna take, oh, actually it fits in the other nest really nice too. They can share. Oh, and you can make eggs too. Then you might want to make a mama bird. Okay, anyways. So there's my little cup, little bowl. And now I'm just gonna make a bunch of noodles. So I'm just gonna roll out a nice long noodle of clay. And I'm just gonna, oops, that's not working. I better move my paper. Okay. Just gonna roll it out. And I'm just gonna pull off small pieces. And just basically like you're collecting sticks. Just break off a ton of little pieces. And just pile them up. And keep making them and pile them up. And then you can keep making and adding too if you want your little twig nest. Okay, so now I've made a nice little pile of twigs. So I'm just going to take my little bowl, put just a little bit of water on the outside. You don't have to get it sloppy wet because you get it sloppy wet, it's a mess. I'm just going to start just kind of wrapping the outside edge with sticks. And just kind of do it real organically. Just kind of just keep working your way around. And I like to make some of them stick out on top because then that kind of hides your little bowl. And actually, I do believe that some birds make their nests around like a little mud nest. And then I think I've seen, at least, I think I saw at the Surrett, some nests that looked like that, like they were mud interior with sticks. And so look, I'm just literally working in a circle putting my twigs all around. And once I get that first layer on, I'm just gonna add a little more water, just boop, a little bit more water, and just keep adding them.
It's so fitting that, you know, you're using water and clay, and that a lot of nests are made of water and mud, which is essentially, you know, really similar to clay.
I know. And the fun thing I was saying about this too, because it is air dry clay and it's not going to go in the kiln, you could use a little bit of grass. You could totally wedge a little bit of grass in there, or a little, like some teeny tiny sticks if we're going this small.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could really kind of have fun with it. Or like you could even put on the inside a little nest of dry grass for your bird to sit on. I wish I would have thought of that earlier. Gotta run outside and get some grass.
This is what happens during the process. You get all these great ideas.
I know, that's one thing I like about making, is you think while you make and you're like, oh, what could I do now? Oh, there's this thing. So anyways, there's my little twig nest. And then I'm going to put my bird in it. And this little birdie's nesting. Yeah. Now, as far as painting, this little guy's a little too wet to paint. But I do have this one that I made. So I made this around 2 o'clock, I would say 2:30. And it's way dry enough to paint on. So this is not like a let it set and cure all day and come back to it. You actually could paint it. Like this little guy could be painted right now. It might get a little muddy, but I don't think so, because it's not like a regular clay where I don't think the paint would get picked up. But yeah, so we gave you primary colors so that you could do your own paint mixing, right? So a little bit of yellow with the blue makes a green. You can do a purple tone. You could do oranges. It's a little trickier to make a brown. I promised myself that I would have that formula written down for you guys next time we were going to do paint mixing, and I didn't. But it's not every single color like you think it would be. I want to say it's mostly yellow with some blue and a little bit of red, and then a dab of black. Anyways, not really sure. Do you know, Emily?
Yeah, one of the tricks that I've used is, you know, it's a good primary practice is making orange with your red and your yellow. And you also make green, which is your blue and your yellow, and then mix those together. So you're right, it's mostly yellow, but mixing those two secondary colors together normally makes a pretty good orange. Normally.
Okay.
So yeah, because that, you know, complementary colors.
Yes.
Coming together to create a nice muted tone.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And then when you're working on your color wheel and you take your secondary with your primary to tone it down. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then if you want it to be a warmer brown, you add a little bit more red. You want it to be a cooler brown, you add a little bit more blue.
Yeah. So see, we got it. So yeah, but you have plenty of paint to play with. What's our time like? Do you want me to paint, or?
If you are feeling so inclined to paint, Danny, please do. We're at 6:36, but no pressure either way.
We got time. I usually go about 45, so we got time. I've gone an hour and 10, so we don't have to do that. Yeah, okay. So this wax paper or freezer paper or whatever we have in here with this plasticky side is a really good palette for mixing. Or if you still have your palette left over from when we did landscapes, I think we gave you little yogurt lids. So I'm just gonna get a brush out, and then we've got our paper towel. And remember, when we're painting with colors, we're gonna wipe and clean our brush off as much as possible on a paper towel before we clean it in the water, and that makes your water last longer. And that way you can actually use your water as a tool as well. So I am going to go with I actually think I might try and paint my new guy just to see for you guys how well this damp clay works. So, and I kind of want to make an orangish color. I'm going to kind of go orangish with the body. Do we know any orange birds in Michigan? I don't know.
We do get some orioles.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It's about the only orange bird I know off the top of
Yeah,
my
that's the
head.
only orange bird I can think of, unless we're like, in New Zealand or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I mix paint, I like to go tonal. So I start with a darker side and then I work my way to light, and I just kind of mix up a few as I'm going. Because I'm not a big fan of painting something just all solid one color. I like to kind of give it variations so that it has a little bit of a richer look. And since we're painting feathers too, that will also help bring out those feathers. So, oh, look at that. It goes on there very nicely. And this is even just tempera. I mean, I guess if you have acrylic paint at home, you're obviously more than welcome to use your own supplies, but we love to make sure that you have all the tools to do the project on hand. You want to make sure that everybody's got what they need. Oh yeah, that looks good. I like it. Oh, that's cute. This is a very summery feeling bird to me with this light orange color. I do think when this clay dries, it'll be mostly white, but I don't think it'll be stark white. It's got a little bit of a beige-ish tone. Ooh, that's hard to say. A beige tone to it. So it probably is advertised as a white clay, but I think it's not going to be stark white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I actually think that looks prettier under the paint. To see, when I paint, I just kind of bring it right on, and you can still kind of see the clay underneath. I like the differences. And so okay, so that's all just one color. Now I'm going to take my darker orange and add just a little bit. I feel like I'm making like this belongs in like South America. This is not even like our region at all.
Well, Danny, I
more
just looked it up.
Yes.
I think you'll be happy to know that there is a black-headed grosbeak that is native to Michigan, and they're orange-chested. Yeah. You're a natural.
Did you know that that's what I had in mind? That is exactly what I had in mind.
Amazing.
So, okay, so black-headed. So I would still paint the whole thing orange to begin with, because that's my underpaint.
Yeah. Well, not that you have to follow that, but I thought you'd be happy to know that the other one is an oriole and the other orange Michigan bird is a black-headed grosbeak.
And I gave it a grosbeak. I'm so excited. I love having you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay. It feels so funny when you guys are just watching me layer paint. But I also know that it can be kind of relaxing too. I am getting used to this camera setup. Since it's wide format, I'm used to the up and down. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of cover that up. Now, it's wet. So my fingers are gonna get kind of messy here. But I'm just gonna go for it because I want to get the whole thing covered. Black-headed grosbeak. I'm looking that up in my book.
You should. Would you like to hear a definition of it?
I would, yes, most definitely.
The black-headed grosbeak, large, stocky finch, black streaked, orange brown back, black head, wings, tail. Naturally, it's a bird. Breast is orange, brown, and belly is yellow. Wings have conspicuous white patches, black legs, feet. Female lacks black head and throat. So there, that is again the difference between the male and the female.
Okay, so it's a black head and throat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And forages on ground and in trees and bushes, eats insects, caterpillars, seeds, fruits, and berries. So
I'm guessing that the beak of a grosbeak, I was going to guess seeds and berries because it's a harder, like short, like it would like break things maybe kind of a beak, you know, like it looks like it has a little bit more leverage. So that was going to be my guess. So the berries. That's
a sturdier beak.
Yeah.
You're a natural.
Yay. Well, I mean, I am married to somebody who's really into birds. So I guess it rubs off a little bit. Okay, so there's my orange. It is really wet because obviously I could have let it dry a little bit, but yeah. Oops. Wipe your brush off before you get it wet. Okay. And okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of that black then and go on the throat and the head. And I'm guessing it's not a full thing. It's probably like a little here and a little here. But that's only because I think that's what I want to make. Yeah, this is really tacky and wet. I would normally just let this set up a bit. I mean, I'm just dipping the tip of my brush in here too. I don't want to like slap it on. Actually, my paint colors are kind of mixing right on my bird, and it looks kind of cool. It's really green. A little tiny bit on the head. Oops, I got right over the eye. Just gonna use my finger to paint that. And I guess I'm gonna put a little bit on the throat. Yeah, I got a little much on the throat. A little much on the throat. If I had the picture of the bird with me, I would do it a little more proper, but that's okay. So I just took my wet brush, kind of blended that out a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit more of this. Put that right there. Yeah. Well, that's actually really cute. So sorry if I'm painting a little more to myself this time. Like I said, I'm getting used to this setup. So yeah, I'm just kind of layering my paint over it. Okay, I'm going to give it a yellow beak. Get the water out of there. Okay. All right. I believe I made a black-headed grosbeak. I think. I'm looking it up after this. Now I'm super intrigued. This could be my favorite bird ever. So there's my bird. Just kind of gave it a little bit. You can see where my fingers are taking the paint off of the bottom. It's totally sloppy wet. I would let this set up a little bit before I did this again. It works if you really just need instant gratification, but I think your project will come out better if you just let the outer shell dry. Yeah, I mean, you could even just give it like an hour or two. But anyways, I think they came out pretty cute. I'm going to set them in this little nest. That's pretty cute. I'll go back over this so that I can photograph it later. I'll repaint it, and maybe I'll look up the actual bird too. But anyways, that was fun. And then with the nest, just layer on different tones of browns and blacks and mud colors, I guess. Unless you want it to like have a bright blue nest. This does not have to be a real bird.
Could be pretty cool.
It'd be pretty darn cool. Anyways, so yeah, there we go. That's our project. I hope everybody enjoyed having story time because, you know, we do this on our Wednesday night family nights is in partnership with the Benton Harbor Public Library. And so that's where I normally am the second Wednesday of the month in the evening. And we have a nice big room and it's right upstairs with the kids' books. So it's a good opportunity to also go to the library, check out a few books, because they actually have a killer children's book section. I love it there. So good. My kids love it. My son Kale is like, cannot wait for the library to open. But so yes, so please remember the summer reading program. They're hoping to start that next week. And just check out the Benton Harbor Public Library's Facebook or website, whichever. They'll post information both places probably at the same time. And they know they want to get that going right away. And I think they're going to do some more stuff with us related to that. And I'll let them let you know, because I don't really know all that information. So, and I always want to remind you to share your work with us. If you make birds, I want to see them. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing the landscapes last week. That was so cool, last month. That was so cool, you guys. It was awesome. That really made me feel like I'm not just talking to myself on a screen. That was awesome. So, and obviously the Krazel loves it too, but personally, I really dug it. So, but yeah, if you do post, share it with us on Facebook, or you can even share on Instagram. I'm on Instagram all the time, so I definitely see stuff there. Emily and the crew see the stuff on Facebook, and you can tag it, Explore Krazel. And we have a couple other hashtags we like to use. One of them is Be Creative, hashtag Be Creative. We like you to check out the hashtag Museum from Home, which is a really awesome program that I think by now every museum I've even ever come across right now seems to be participating in Museum from Home. It's a really cool way to see what the museums have going on inside right now, since we can't get inside because we're all stuck at home, kind of. We're in a little nebulous place right now, but we're getting there. And I just hope you have fun making art with us. And we will be back on Saturday morning. Well, actually at noon. Good morning for me.
Or 11 a.m.
Is it 11?
Yeah,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I know, time is, I know.
We will be there at 11 in the morning then. So it is a.m., 11 a.m. I have that written down. I would have been there.
Well, I know.
So, but we're going to be doing some fun things with sticks and strings. So I have to put that project together still. So that's going to be fun. I'm thinking about maybe throwing a little macrame in there. We'll get creative. And that you can, you picked up your fundle, or if you hadn't picked up your fundle, if you've got, I think on the event page, Emily puts a list of supplies. So you get some sticks, get some strings. If you got any like shiny, fun things you want to tie up in there, it'll be fun. It'll be good. That's a really good one. So yeah, this was fun. This was a little different, and we're gonna do this format again on Saturday. Only we won't have a story, because that's the library's contribution. Okay, I guess I'm done. It's strange because I'm still talking to you.
I know. Thanks, Danny.
All right. So I think that was good. I think we're done. And I think, and so this is going to be archived on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, the link will still work.
Yep.
And you watched it and you want to still work on your new bird, and you can come watch it all over again. It'll be fun. And it'll be there for you. All right.
Do you wanna show your birds one more time?
Oh, yes, sure. So this is the one that I made this afternoon. This one's just my cute little generic grosbeak, because apparently that's the beak I like best.
That's your bird.
And then this is the one that I made tonight. Let me get the light behind me. The
Great.
black-headed grosbeak, which I'm gonna look up, and I'm gonna finish this little guy, and we'll post a picture, hopefully. All right. So that was fun. Yay. Thanks you guys so much for joining in. Yay.
Yep. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right.